What is going on, Herd? Welcome to another episode of Movies and Shows, where we get to talk about the final episode of season one. I'm hoping season one. That means we get a season two of Ms. Marvel. And with us, as always, we have Haley and Candace. Haley, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk about this. I've been looking forward to it all day.
Right. What about you, Candace?
Yeah, I literally feel the same. It was so good. So I'm really just excited to talk about all that happened, and the end credit scene, especially, and all of that stuff. So I'm so pumped. But this is super bittersweet that it's the last episode. So
I know. I feel it. I feel you. I mean, it was such a great episode. But before we dive into it, let's give a quick shout out to our Team Nerd Herd moderators, Uncle Rudy, Something Wong, Deanime, and Glenn2K12. Thank you guys so much for making the channel, the chat, the community what it is. We definitely appreciate the support and everything that you guys do. And a quick shout out to our DJ, Eddie, at Beats by Monsta. Thank you so much for those beats. And let us go into the chat. I know we saw Rudy, who was up in here, number one, right here. First, hit him thumbs up on your way in. Thanks a lot, Uncle Rudy. Appreciate that. We also have Glenn2K from across the pond. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, look at that. Pat, thank you for coming by and supporting Candace. This is awesome. Thank you so much. And Steve. All right, Steve. Thank you for stopping by. And with that, I believe we might be. We are not. Look at that. Sticks Boy. What is going on? Thank you so much for swinging by. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Woo! There's a lot.
I know.
But let's get it started. Let's get your overall feelings of the episode itself. So, Haley, why don't you let us know how you felt about this, from beginning to end, about this particular episode?
I loved it. I thought it was such a great finale. I felt like they gave us reveals that we were waiting for. I know that we had predicted some things happening in this episode that actually came to fruition, but it didn't feel like, I predicted it, and it didn't feel quite as good. It felt so earned. And then the action, just seeing Miss Marvel really own her powers and finally feel like she has just the hang of it. You just really see her go for it. It's so fun. It was fun. I got emotional. I kind of teared up. It was a roller coaster. I loved it. This is my favorite show of all of the shows made. I just have to say, perfection beginning to end. So
oh my God. I would echo that sentiment. What about you, Candace?
Yeah, I definitely share all of the same feelings. I think it was pretty much everything in the finale that I wanted. I don't feel very disappointed. I mean, there's certain things that were just I want to see more, but that's a good thing because you can't give everything. But I think that the most exciting things were a lot of things were we got closure on a lot of things, and then seeing some of her powers finally go to their fullest. Oh my God. And of course, seeing her in the costume was just awesome. As we've been talking about in previous episodes of it's been exciting seeing her gain pieces of her costume as we've been going episode to episode to see now it's finally all together and see her in it. And oh my God, it was everything.
Right? I mean, it was. So Jeff, thank you for joining us.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Hey,
I actually went to the office today. This is first Wednesday. Ooh, that sounds like somebody's kid dropped a lot of something. Yes, first Wednesday I've worked in the office in a long time, so I try to get out as soon as I possibly can, but California traffic sucks.
I know. No worries, Jeff. So we're just going on with just your overall feel of the movie, of the show itself, though it did feel like a movie. So what were your overall feelings about everything? From beginning to end?
The whole show or just the episode?
The episode.
I really loved it. I thought at first it was going to be rushed because it's one episode left. They just got back to the United States, how do they catch up? So obviously they took out basically all the exposition that you would need. They just kind of cut to where we need to be And so I can accept that, and that was cool. Just there's so many details that were so great in this that I don't want to ruin it right now. So but yeah, I mean, I love the episode. I love the way they ended this. I like how everything tied together. I like how we got some questions at the end of the show. And, you know, we got some answers, but we also got more questions, which obviously ties to wherever she makes her next appearance, which is the Marvels. And I can't wait. That just makes me more intrigued to watch the Marvels now.
And the biggest question I think we all have is there going to be a season 2? We need a season 2 after that, after everything, right?
I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, come on. But you know what? I'm sure we're going to talk about it. I mean, you did a great job breaking everything down. Did you want to start, Jeff, with the your scenes, or?
Yes. Let me turn on my iPad because I totally forgot to do that.
Okay. So the first scene that we had with this episode was actually when we kind of see things kind of happening with Bruno. I'm hoping this was the first scene. If not, please forgive me, because there was just so much, and I get that kind of.
The first scene is actually Agent Devers walking away from the crime scene at Circle Q.
Okay, perfect. There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's a little bit of context there that's really important to hear, because I know it's just a real quick scene. You know, you see the agents, the DODC at where the drone, you know, shot the rocket, and basically she's talking to another agent, and she's saying, this is what happens when the wrong people get power, and this is kind of like almost like we're the audience, like the agent's the audience. And he basically goes, whoa, what do you mean? You know, like, because we are talking about a Pakistani girl, right? So, like, we can be talking about maybe he's thinking she's meaning race, right? So, and she goes, kids, you know, so, and that leads to a very important thing in the comic books is Kamala's Law. So, Kamala's Law is basically, what broke up the Champions, the Young Avengers. So there was a law that prohibits anybody under 21, from basically being a superhero, from using their powers. That's basically where we're at. I think this is going to be a bigger thing later, and just that little conversation. So that was really cool. And then we go to find out where Cameron is. And Cameron and Bruno are literally running in the subway, just like in the trailers. And they are running away from the DODC. And Cameron uses his powers to help get away. And now you get to see his powers a little bit more. They're very similar to Kamala's, but with a different coloring. And also, he uses it more offensively than she does. She uses it more defensively. So, and then we get to Kamala's family. So this is obviously she returned from the trip. And she is having her whole family sit in front of her. She's going to announce something to them. So it's the brother, the sister-in-law, the mother, father. They're all sitting there, and she's going to tell them, you know, I'm Light Girl, or Nightlight, you know, and they go, oh, that's you, and they like over exaggerate it, and she goes, Mom, you told them? and she and then the brother Amir goes, well, she told Abu, but Abu was on speakerphone, so we heard. So, you know, it's like, it's really funny. It's funny how they already accepted it, and they just have a bunch of little questions for her. There's a lot. And the brother is actually just, you know, poking fun at her. He's just taking jabs at her. He's like, oh, so when you dropped the kid, did you mean to break his leg? you know, like it's just pointing, jabbing at her. I love the dynamic. I love how I think this is the first time that I've really seen a family told someone's secret identity, right? Like you got Spidey, you know, where his best friend finds out, and then MJ already figures it out. So we're like, does he really tell anybody that he's Spider-Man? But Kamala tells her family. So I really love that she trusts them, and that even though she might be putting them at risk, they're at risk anyways, just being her family. So I think it was a great thing to say, like, oh, you know, just share the secret with them, and you know, hopefully everyone can help you out along the journey. And then so the father is, you know, talking to her about her powers, and he's kind of worried. He's saying, you know, you're not, just because you have these powers, you're not going to go look for problems. And this goes all the way back to like the very first episode where she's getting a talk. And she says, well, Dad, you wouldn't want me to sit down and do nothing when I can help. And then the mother chimes in, kind of going back to like that second or third episode where it's like, we trust her, right? So it's like they flip the roles and everything. The mom used to be really worried, now the dad's really worried. So I mean, it's really cool. I like that. Let's see. And then Nakia calls. She FaceTimes Amir, and he's like, why is she FaceTiming me? I guess she couldn't reach Kamala, and she's asking Kamala, where's Bruno, because the Circle Q has been destroyed. So now Kamala is running off to go look for them. What did you guys think? Like this whole beginning where she's talking to the family. Well, first of all, obviously what the agent talks about. And then the family. What do you all think?
For the DOD, is it the DOD? Is that what they're? Yeah.
Sorry, DODC.
DODC. Okay.
Yeah.
They're awful. Like I just like them so much. But I mean, just like knowing, like having read the comics, like they're also awful in the comics. And so I didn't even think of Kamala's Law like when that happens, but I do appreciate where I feel like also like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's like a kind of like groundedness in reality that these kind of like law enforcement and the like dynamics and relationship and the tensions are there. We see that later in some of the conversations and dialogues that they make when as like the DODC are like invading like the mosque and in certain spaces. I think that's like important to highlight. And yeah, so I'm curious to see what will happen as like they're kind of becoming more prevalent, especially with that conversation. Then when we go to the scene with the family, and it was just so heartwarming. Like I really loved that her family welcomed her with just like such warmth, and there was like that trust between her and her mother, which I felt like was such a beautiful kind of like arc, especially when we think about where we started, like her not wanting to even go to AvengerCon, and now she's like allowing her to kind of go fight in the streets with her powers. Like that's such an immense amount of trust. And I could see that Cameron's powers weren't really explained. I feel like that's something that's going to come up again, though. Like that, I feel like that's not like a thread, like because he gets away and then the red dagger. Like I feel like that's not the last that we see them. So for me, I feel like there are going to be things in this that they're not going to explain because they're leaving for another storyline. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, no, I was just happy. Like I loved how everyone reacted. It was just so wholesome. And yeah, I just loved like how they rallied around her.
Yeah. Let's see. So for the DODC stuff, I didn't really have like any like huge thoughts on that. It was just, good I figured that was where we were going to start off on everything, so that made sense. Yeah, right off the bat though, like the most memorable was definitely like Kamala telling her family, because I know last week we were talking about like how are like her brother and her dad gonna react and everything, and it's really funny of how accepting not only is her family but like people are about superheroes in general. I've watched so many other like supernatural shows and where it's like you're more of an it's odd to have abilities and things like that. So it's kind of funny that with MCU or just Marvel in general, a lot of people don't question it. So that's just cool. And then just like the whole banter thing of just like it was just a great example of a family of seeing like where people try to keep secrets from each other and then everybody knows and stuff. And then of course like I've loved seeing like the relationship between Kamala and her mom and how it's progressed and how it's like gone whole like 180 here and just like where they have this really great relationship now. And as soon as like she said that like, oh, we trust her, right? And and it's just kind of like, yeah, now you do. But it was just awesome that once she found out that she had these abilities and what she was doing, and then like that all that trust was gained back. So I'm glad that her family knows, because you do need, it's good that she has that support system, not only just her friends, but her family. Because as we were saying, not a lot of the other superheroes, they have that either because they don't have family or just they haven't decided to tell anybody. So I think that'll be just really great for her that she has their support. I'm trying to think what else. I'm going to try to think what else we talked about. I think that was pretty much it. Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. Like my favorite part or parts actually was when Kamala told her family that, hey, guess what? I'm Nightlight. I thought that was like the best thing. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that a hero is revealing their secret identity. I thought it was like what are they doing here? But it was so nice. It was very genuine. It was just like, and then like to Jeff's point to that banter that came out like afterwards was like, oh, do you have to recharge? And stuff like that. It was just great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did miss the part of the DODC, but you know what? I just felt like that this part or this scene was like really super important to have. And it to Candace's point, you can see how the family has really come together, and especially with the mom, and how that was truly a 180. So it was great. I'm glad they're doing this, Marvel. So
yeah, I guess seeing is believing. So she doubted her whole life until she saw the actual light, the stars. So we move on, and Kamala is rushing off to go find Bruno. And before she takes off, her mom tells her, no, you're not going out like that. And she's like, wait a minute. Wait, we just got past this point, right? And she comes in and gives her a gift. And woohoo! I can't believe we were right.
Yes.
And she opens the box, and it is a homemade outfit of Ms. Marvel.
I cried.
Made by her
yes.
mom with the Pakistani like design fabric. Like it was so awesome. And it also had, I think it had the ribbon, not the ribbon, sash. Yeah, so I don't know if that was part of the Red Dagger outfit. It might be separate. I'm not sure. We'll find out another day. Okay, so and so she puts on the outfit, and we go to a scene where we're seeing people in the streets, and all of a sudden they're looking up, and it's Kamala just running across the city in the air. And she even they even make it funny because like she stops at a red light and waits for it to turn green. Like, what are you waiting for? You're walking on air. So she stops at her Cameron. We go to Cameron and Bruno. They're running down the street and they get to the mosque. and Nakia basically, you know, tells them you can't really stay here. They're gonna come here and find you, and you're like gonna endanger the other people. And so she said, you guys need to go to the high school after this. After we get rid of them, you go to the high school, and because it's empty on Saturday. And then the agent walks into the mosque, and before she can even finish her sentence, I need to see all of your everyone's holding up their IDs, and the person in charge, he says, you know, this is not our first round of you know, go around with this, you know, you guys come here all the time, basically. And the agent's giving her spill about, like, you know, stop harboring, you know, this fugitive. But they do enough where they're distracting her. And I really like what was said to her, right? Like, she says, we're looking for a 16 to 25 Pakistani or Arab, and everyone was like, well, that's literally everybody here. And she says, well, if you're abetting, you know, if you're hiding him, you know, no one's going to be on your side. And he says, I'm not even concerned if God is on my side, as long as I'm on his side, for God is always right. And she tells him, I'm not, you know, I don't need to hear your Quranic quotes. And he goes, well, that was said by Abraham Lincoln. So it's just like, you know, like it's kind of a telling of our society, where some people think they know what history is, and then some people just don't know, and they say things that are very racially toned, or you know, at least culturally toned. And then we see that they get away. Bruno and who's the other guy? Darn it.
What, Cameron?
Cameron, yeah, it's Cameron. Yes, oh gosh. And before they leave, he tells Cameron, you know, just because they make you're their enemy does not give you the right to make them your enemy. And I really, really like that quote. I mean, so many good quotes in this whole damn show. And he gives them a disguise. Oh, wait, you need a disguise. And he just puts a hat on them. And it's like big ass letters and names. Like, all right. And then they run off, obviously, to the school. Let's see. Kamala finds them, right? They're in the alley of the school. And she goes, well, what are you guys wearing? And they see her new outfit, and they're like, what are you wearing? And they jump into the school, sneak in, and then before they sneak in, she makes a phone call. She knows that she has to get Cameron away, and she makes a phone call to Red Dagger, asking for a favor. But this is where you get that history, or at least that history that we've been learning in this show, where the Red Daggers are actually like the mortal enemies of the clandestines, and he's a clandestine. But because Kamala asks, Red Dagger, you know, says, yeah, I know somebody that can help him, get him to the harbor by midnight. So they like I said, they get into the school, and here we are. Before we meet everybody at the school, what did you guys think of Mom's gift, of like the whole conversation at the mosque, and these guys just running around with their heads cut off?
Well, I love that we were right, because we were right. She got the outfit from her mom. I really, that made me so happy. I was getting like really teary eyed during that, because it just like felt like such a beautiful and special moment. And I just love all of the changes that they've made in order to give her identity as Miss Marvel through the show. It just, I think, enriched the character and the community around her to kind of create it that way. So I thought that was beautiful. I felt like when you get to the mosque, like that whole scene is really telling. So her friend, now I'm the one forgetting names. What is her? Nakia.
Thank
So when Nakia's there, she also says, like, why would you guys even think about coming to a mosque? Like, everyone in the government has this place on surveillance. Like, even the Department of Sanitation probably does. And I feel like that is such a subtle but such an important piece of dialogue to point to the kind of like vigilance of like Muslim places of worship and just like Muslim people in the country, and kind of like the perceived threat because of their faith. And so I thought that was just like, again, subtle, but like had a lot of impact on like its meaning and was important to like be said. And then, right, you have a juxtapose this kind of the quotes that the is it what is his the not priest? I'm like, again, what is his position?
I don't know if it's
Sheik?
is it
Sheik?
yeah, Sheik.
Is that how you say it?
I guess is it Sheik?
Or
Someone can
Sheik?
correct me, please.
Oh God, I don't want to get this one wrong.
but he quotes Abraham Lincoln, right? And she's like, "Oh, I don't want your chronic quotes." And I feel like him, so that like Nakia's piece of dialogue juxtaposed against this this quote too is like they expect them to be like these like religious like fanatics that like are only kind of like spouting like what is of their faith, and like, right, they are like whole people. And I don't know, I really love that kind of like them juxtaposed, because like you're seeing, like Jeff, you were saying, that kind of like cultural like tone and lens in which like the DODC is like walking in with these perceived prejudice, essentially.
Absolutely. Right.
So these are all like really small and quick moments, but just, again, I feel like had such impact if like you're really taking it in what like the layered meanings are, and what maybe as an audience we're supposed to be really sitting with. And then I just thought it was funny, like the way they get away. She's like, "Oh, like my boyfriend." You open the door and she's like, "Oh, it's my boyfriend. Don't tell anyone." And then,
which is even funnier if you know her character.
Exactly. And them seeing her outfit for the first time was priceless. They were really excited. I loved like I loved so much like the kind of like getting away scenes of like them trying to figure it out, because it's so like ragtag, like people are just trying to run out like doors, and it's, you know, they're not professional superheroes or professional
like Scooby-Doo-ish.
There we go.
100%.
100%. That's what I was looking for. So I loved all of these scenes. I thought, like, again, just so well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all that. Yes, so let's move back up. Okay, so a costume. There's so many things we touch on, like I have to remember it all. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things we were, of course, like waiting for, and it's awesome that yes, we predicted it. But I mean, it made sense after, you know, like I was saying, of how we've been building up on this costume, and it made sense that that's where it would come from. Is that, especially like since that tied back to the beginning of her mom making that the Hulk costume and how that didn't exactly work out. So it was like, yeah, it was just really cool scene. That not only did she get to like share that with her mom and how she like gave her like the finishing touch to her costume, but yeah, it was just a cool, exciting scene. And then with the whole thing with the mosque, definitely echo everything you guys have been saying for sure. I think it was interesting first of when the guys were trying to hide out there, and they're asking to hide there, and then of course Nakia says what she says about it, you know, that everybody is like on a lookout at that place, and you know it's not safe, and these guys are thinking, well, it's, you know, basically like a lot of times, you know, places of worship are supposed to be like a sanctuary, somewhere you could go to hide out, and it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be sacred. And in here it's just kind of sad of how like it's brushed off to be like to that, where it's like, well, whatever, like we're just gonna barge in, and it's not, it loses that whole like being actually sacred. And then the same thing with it when they all, everyone at the mosque has to like show their cards, like, and everything, and it's just something that they're used to by now, and it's actually kind of pretty sad, that is something that it's like I'm saying, it's not a sacred place anymore for them, or it is, but it's just like people don't respect that obviously because they're just trying to find people and everything.
She wore her shoes.
Yeah, she didn't remember about that. So and then the whole thing with Nakia and then the closet part, that was pretty funny. It was good that after all those kinds of scenes, it was nice to have something lighthearted, of course. Which I always feel like in this show they have like a good balance of where it's like very thought-provoking thing, like scenes, and then they'll have some like balance it out with lighthearted. So I've liked that a lot. And then let's see. So once they escape, it's kind of funny that like how they do go about like escaping and stuff. It's not very like planned out. It's pretty much like if that were to happen to us, like you would just like do the first thing that pops in your head, and it probably wouldn't even be like a really good plan. So that's just kind of like it's like realistic. And then the guys seeing her costume, everything, that was just like great like banter and just like good reveal to them. Of course, since like there's been this like low key like love triangle the whole time, and just the kind of the reaction of like them seeing her for the first time, that was just really cool. And then what else was after that? We're talking about,
That's where we stopped.
Okay, so again, I'm already like so much of this episode is even up to this point is so good.
Lonzo,
I don't know what more to add. I mean, my goodness. But you know what though, I did enjoy, and Jeff, you mentioned like the whole like Scooby-Doo gang type thing, and it's just like, where are we gonna go next? Oh, let's go to the school. and of course they're
it's like that whole they're running through the door and they end up coming out another door, and then the DOD is behind them running through that door, and they come out a different door, and then
that's so true.
It was great, and then it's just like, oh my goodness, it was fun. Like again, echo all of you guys' sentiments about like everything. The mosque, the mom making the costume for her. I mean, like it well done, Marvel. Well done. I mean, they did a fantastic job, like with all of that.
Yes, I'm glad that it was something that we actually wanted to see, and that they did it. Like that's what's very I guess rewarding watching the show. But we finally get into the school, and we catch up with her friends. So Nakia shows up, and she's like, "Well, nice threads, Pakistani," and basically this is that catching up from the from the previous episode 4, where she leaves to she's running away from the DODC, and Nakia finds out that she's Nightlight. And so she goes, "Are you mad at me? I thought you didn't like superheroes, is why I didn't tell you." So it's that misunderstanding between friends and people, right? That whole like, "Oh, I'm thinking of you, and this is why I did this action, or didn't do this action," and they were like, "Well, I was, I would never treat you that way," kind of thing. Like, like it's just people's I guess there's, what do you call it? I can't think right now, but my mind is all over the place. I'm all over the place on this episode, but I'll get back to that. Then they run into what do you call it? Then Kamala runs into Zoe, and Zoe runs out. They're all
nowhere, by the way. She was out of nowhere.
I was like, where did she come from?
There was a lot of this going on.
I was like, what the? I was
she just like pops up. You're just like,
in the next 3 minutes, we basically see people pop out of nowhere. Literally, like, what? Why are they even there? Kind of thing. And I get it. It felt very Scooby-Doo-ish in that point as well. Like, it's very cartoonish that all of a sudden, all your friends happen to be in the same spot that you're at, hiding, that you need help. So so that whole thing leads, like they were talking about, oh, you guys all need to get out of here. I'll get Kamala saying, I'll get Cameron out of here. It's too dangerous. And they're all saying, well, my home's destroyed and they've already invaded the mosque twice. And it's always like, they try to make me give you up. And that is just, what was that? Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, we'll get to that. And so now they're all agree that they're gonna work together to try to get Kamran out. And they meet in a room, and Kamala does her little planning thing, where she did earlier. She's like planning to get to AvengerCon.
And just really quickly, she's a great artist, by the way. I was like,
Baby
so
Sloth
much
Productions
detail
don't
in
cheap
that
out.
plan, in that drawing, right?
Yeah, even Baby Sloth Production has a quality. Okay. It's literally like a Home Alone scene, right, where he's drawing up the map of how they're gonna like booby trap the whole school, and then like just confuse them, because they're literally outnumbered, and they're all like, it's adults against kids. And right before she gets started, and before she can go any further, her brother shows up right behind her. Like, her really older married brother shows up.
That was awesome.
What? I went to the school too. I stuck in the bathroom, and Mom told me to follow you. She's like, I'm a superhero. Don't need a chaperone. And it's just funny that dynamic of her being a underage kid and having powers, and now her family knows. So it's like, I don't think no matter what she does from now on, somebody's gonna probably be trying to watch over her, some family member. But then she goes through her plan. We gotta get the softballs, we've got to go get fire extinguishers, and her and Bruno are gonna go into the chem lab, and they're gonna concoct some kind of plan in there. And after they're done, the DODC breaks in, and they run into what looks like a bomb. That's a little canister. And they're like, everyone back away, and it goes off. But what goes off is sound. It's just a speaker, and it's playing music. I forgot what music it was playing. It was something funny. Then a disco ball comes down, and they're like, "Oh, it's just a delay, right?" So they shoot it, and they start looking through the school, and they start setting off these traps. They walk into the chem lab, and one guy hits a tripwire, and I think it's what they call elephant toothpaste, where like it like the chemical goes in, and then like all this like foamy stuff comes out, and it's like non-stop because of how much chemicals you put in. It was so much that it filled up the whole room and went out into the staircase. So like that was pretty cool. Like, it's just very Home Alone-ish.
And also, to a side note, just the elaborate plan definitely felt like Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Definitely.
I loved it so much.
Yes.
Oh man, so good.
I do want to point something out that I did miss. So before the DODC actually went in, the agent actually called her boss, which the guy who was in Spider-Man, and asking for the green light to go in. And he's like, no, you've made a public mess of this already, and you're in front of a high school. Like, this is bad, publicity for us. There's no way you have a green light. She gets off the phone. She's like, yeah, go get all the additional troops, all the additional units. So she obviously is not listening. She has a chip on her shoulder. She obviously has this very fanatical way of going about her job, right? And I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you guys read, when you guys read the comic books, it really reminds me of a character that becomes Lockdown. Right, the agent that was going after her, and then they got fired, and then they came back, and then they had like a big old metal suit on and stuff. Yeah, so like I feel like her characteristic is that character, because I feel like she's gonna get fired or let go or demoted, and then she's gonna come back even stronger later.
Well, she does, right? Like that at the end of the episode, doesn't she? Like they're like, he's like, I'm relieving you of your duties.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I mean, like I feel like that's that character, but we'll find out. But yeah, like she's really gung ho. They go after them, and they, like I said, they all split up. And this whole time, Kamran still has no idea that his mother's dead, that the rest of the clandestine are dead. And he's getting more and more worried as they're being chased by the DODC. And he finally says, I need my mom. I need my mother here. I need the clandestine here. Yeah. And they have this conversation, even though Bruno tells her earlier, don't tell him until we're, get out of this situation, right? You're just going to complicate things. He's kind of figuring it all out because she's not telling him. She's literally not saying much, and I guess silence is tells a lot. So he's figuring out that she tells him that that his mom tried to kill everybody, try to destroy the world, but she sacrificed herself to save him and for him to save this world for him. And also like give him her powers. So like they're coming to these, they're teenagers, so they're dealing with all these emotions, and then they're trying to get the hell away. So you can imagine like the anxiety and the stress that they're all going through. Let's see. And then so sorry, Cameron attacks the DOC. Oh. So after that, he gets really upset, and he just stops all the DODC, and he just uses his powers and throws all the lockers at them. And it feels like because he just found out that his mother died, he's lost it, and he is about to use his powers for something really, really bad. And Kamala stops him. He's about to use his power to kill them, and she puts a shield in front of it. He's about to go attack them, and she grabs him. So like she's now fighting on two fronts, trying to stop the DODC, and now they're chasing each other all around the school. What do you guys think so far? The whole the chase, the whole Home Alone planning and all their little, traps.
Yeah, I can start. So first, like I mean, I love that whole scene. It's a lot of fun. First, like it's a nod to, of course, was that the first episode? Yeah, where Kamala has the whole plan for Avengers Con, except in that case, like nothing went how it was supposed to or how she planned it. So this actually was. It was kind of funny seeing it like that, but actually it ended up actually working according to plan, or at least most of it seems like. So that was just a lot of fun. And like we've been saying, it's like they're thinking like teenagers, people that they don't do this all the time. So just like it was that whole scene, it was really like creative, seeing like the kinds of things that they came up with, and I loved it, like seeing it of what they could actually do to defend themselves, like within a school, and kind of like where they utilize the chem lab, and then the softballs, and like kind of just like anything that they can like utilize to help them. So that was just a really fun, just seeing like the creativeness behind that. And then actually like seeing that like happen when like the DODC is in there, and like things are like exploding, and like running into them, and it was just a lot of fun. And it wasn't like even all like related to Kamala's actual powers. It was just teenagers like coming up with their own ideas. So that was just fun. And then when Kamala stops Kamran, it was just cool again, like seeing. I love when anytime that she's able to use her it is considered with the embiggen, right, with the fist. So I always get really excited just seeing that, because those are parts, of course, that are with the comics, and just seeing that more and more is fun. But that's really true about not only is she protecting him from the DODC, but she's protecting them from him too, because now that he I think we all kind of had a feeling like he would obviously he was not going to take this well because it's his mom, and so then we were I was worried about how is it already at the beginning of the episode you could see how even without him knowing that his mom died, he's more of aggressive with his powers than Kamala is. So I was a little worried then of how he would take and how that affects him, because of course anytime you have high emotion, what
You said the brother showing up confused me, and I was like, "Yep."
Oh yeah,
dude, it just came out of nowhere.
I know. I really was just popping up. I honestly didn't expect Zoe to be there either, or the brother. So it was kind of just. I mean, I guess one, they're just trying to get as many people to help out, but then that's kind of nice of that is I was saying Kamala's support system. Although Zoe's was very surprising. Now I couldn't remember, but was it that she originally was friends with her when they were younger, or did I make that up in my head?
No, when they were younger.
Yeah,
okay, so I guess that would kind of where it would come from them. So I guess then it's not 100% surprising, but yeah. And then it was just kind of interesting of how she was able to help. I don't know if we went into that yet about the social media part, but yeah, even with that was just different. It's very kids today of using social media to help with a problem. And I don't want to spoil for a different show, but there was another show I watched recently that how they utilize social media, and it's just nowadays it's just another thing of bringing it into the comics and merging them together, which is really interesting. But I think what else? I think that was about it. But yeah, just that whole scene was just a lot of fun and just really, really creative for sure. So.
And I did forget to mention how they kind of trick the DODC. They're all dressed in the same hoodie. They're using fire extinguishers to fill up the air. And then the whole plan was Zoe was supposed to basically save them all, right? By using her influence, using her TikTok or Instagram, streaming live,
TikTok,
right? and just basically saying, "Oh, the DODC is chasing us. It's really scary. It's they're chasing kids. They're in the school, and it was just really smart use. But yes, go ahead, Haley.
Yeah. So for the brother showing up, I'm not sure if you it seems like he just pops up, but then he said that mom sent me.
Yeah,
but,
you take it over, mom.
Well, in the previous when she was looking for her in Pakistan, the cousin tells her about basically find my iPhone.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they know where she is.
That's smart.
Oh my god, I forgot about
that's
that.
True. That's
true.
So
it's something you have to remember. They kind of just trust you to remember, and that's how he is where he is, which I thought was really funny. No, I loved it. Was super fun. It was just so I loved the kind of the outsmarting of the DODC with just such funny antics, the softballs or them riding on the bikes. It just felt really smart and also just so whimsical, which I thought was really cool to juxtapose when we get the real superhero action scenes with Kamran and Miss Marvel and thanks Bruce, and I was wondering how they were going to, because in the comics Kamran is Inhuman and he is not necessarily the good guy. He kind of plays a more evil component, and so I was wondering, because of the way that they've built him through the show, if they were going to kind of keep in line with the spirit of him. And I really appreciated the way they did that, because he's feel like he didn't have these powers before, and now all of a sudden he has these powers and he's alone in the world, and he realizes, like, he starts to act out when he realizes his mom is no longer around. Like, that's horrifying, like, to actually realize like your parent has passed. Like, that's no small thing to process amidst, like, when we think about her powers, Kamala's powers, she was being triggered when she was really scared, and so his are being triggered when he's scared but also angry, and so that's what we're seeing happening. And I just thought, he's at the beginning of his journey where we saw Kamala essentially, like, with his powers, and he doesn't know what they are and he doesn't understand them either, and so there's just a lot of fear there in general, and I think she can see that, and she's like fighting against him, but to save him from himself and to save him from his own emotions. And so I liked that is where they took it, especially when we had earlier in the scene kind of that foreshadowing where the Sikh was telling him that, you are not, like, they are your enemy, but do not be an enemy, kind of back to them, that quote. So I felt like that was kind of like full circle. But yeah, I really enjoyed those scenes.
Yeah, the elaborate plan for me was just funny. Like, I love the whole scene of the whole getting into the school and getting into all of this mess. That was a lot of fun. And again, like, seriously, now, Jeff, now that you put like Scooby-Doo in my head, honestly, that's
the whole
all
thing
I can think of
Scooby-Doo.
now.
Can't
when I
unsee
see
it.
that. I cannot unsee it. I'm like, all the time when they're running around, I'm going to rewatch it and then maybe put that Scooby-Doo music on when they start like doing stuff.
Perfect.
Oh gosh,
I love it.
oh, that's funny. All right, well, we get Kamala and Kamran basically fighting now, and Kamran's pretty much had it, and he's no longer gonna hide. He's just gonna face it head on, and he busts the door down to the school, comes out, and there's actually a crowd outside. There's literally a crowd outside watching, had been formed because of the whole social media thing where everyone saw it. So they all went down there to protest. This is all part of society is going on today, protesting a lot. So these people come out to protest DODC, and he's just facing them. He's just standing there. He's really not doing anything. Yes, his eyes are glowing, hands are glowing, and the DODC is telling him to get on his knees. He's not having it, but he doesn't do anything. He's literally just standing there, and she says fire. They start shooting at him, and the crowd, you can hear a gasp from the crowd, right? What the hell? Like, you're shooting at a kid. And lucky for him, he has powers because he started blocking it, but it looked like his shield wasn't big enough. And then you can hear a crash through the windows from the second floor, and Kamala just jumps out with her embiggen like self and just forms a shield to protect them. And as they're firing, this shield is like getting picked off, like piece by piece, and everyone's screaming, and they're like, crying out and just in fear for the kids. And obviously there's people out there who know who Kamala is, and you can hear them in the audio, and it's like kind of freaky, like, Betta, get away, like it's, and then you hear the mom screaming, and then it's just like, it's pretty crazy. And she tells them to stop firing, the agent tells them to stop firing, and then all of a sudden they reveal that they actually have another weapon, and it's a sonic weapon. It's actually the sonic weapon from Hulk. And so they use a Hulk-sized weapon on this little 16-year-old girl, and they blow apart her shield. Her and Kamran go flying over the cars, and you just hear this like ringing noise, and then you hear like all the crowd screaming and like, what the hell kind of stuff. And Kamala gets up, she sees the crowd, she sees their pain. She looks over at Kamran, he's kind of knocked out on the ground, and she starts crawling toward him as the agent starts pointing the weapon again to fire at her. But before she gets shot at, she says the most important words that I didn't think that she would ever say.
Right?
She says "Biggin." I don't know. Like, that kind of came out of nowhere to me. Like, I don't know if that fit in that moment, just in the sense of
I didn't even care. I was
But
like,
you're right.
I just
Yes.
wanted to hear.
It was fan service, but I was like, yes. Yes.
The first time I saw it, I was like, yes. And then the second time I was like, but that didn't fit. Like, she didn't say "Biggin," that nothing led to this. So I don't know. But I still think it was a cool moment, and she embiggens her whole body, and she basically is in a light shield armor suit, and she jumps up and she destroys that weapon, and even in destroying the weapon, and she destroys it like colossally. And she asked the driver and the passenger inside that vehicle that had the weapon, she goes, "Are you guys all right?" "Yes, Miss Light." She goes, no, not that name.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that moment. I like that she was still caring about the people who are attacking her, just like how the Sheik had said earlier, don't make them your enemy, even though they've made you theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's showing the compassion and being empathetic, even though, you know, people are really trying to kill you. And it just shows how much of a hero she is. And then I guess her and Cameron just start fighting all the DODC. And before anything else can happen, you know, the agent is about to shoot Cameron, and Cameron throws a car, basically pushes a car at her, and it hits one of the Humvees, and it flies into the air toward the crowd. And right before, like 3 feet before it hits the crowd, Kamala grabs it with her big arms, and puts it down. And remember, before, she didn't have the strength to like pick up anything or even pick up her own arm. And now she's just found it within herself to actually be able to control her powers even better. And it's just like a great moment, because like the car was actually going to crush her parents.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so like it's just awesome moment. And then Kamran just goes ballistic. He loses control of his powers, it almost looks like. All his emotions have been taking over him, and all of his powers are just going crazy. They're going in every direction. They're destroying cars. It almost kills the kids who got arrested that are sitting in the van. It's going toward the crowd, and Kamala is just walking toward him as every wave of his like emotions keep flooding through. And she's just fighting, and she finally gets to him, gets on her knees, and she creates this bubble, like this dome light around them. And she's just, you know, talking to him, you know, let me just make sure I get this right. I don't want to mess this all up. So mirror poses. Okay. I'm trying to. What did she say, or what was he saying? Oh, he was saying something like, you know, you need to stop. You need to stop. And he goes, I don't know how to go back to being normal after all of this, right? And she goes, there is no normal. The only thing you can do is, the only thing you have is to, you know, what you do with what we've been given. So like it goes back to like what the Sheik said earlier, right? Like when they were on the porch, you know, you're not good. Good is what you do, right? You know, so it was kind of that same speech, kind of giving him that whole, just how we go forward is depends on you. And I really like that moment. And I like the fact that she even like helps him escape, punches a hole in the ground, lets him. I hope that went to the sewer and over, because I don't know what she was punching a hole in the ground for. Considering he had to get to the harbor. But I'm assuming he used his powers as well, and then he got to the harbor underground. And she comes out of it, and immediately the agent's like, "Get her!" And the crowd bursts through all the barricades, and they literally surround Kamala. And not just the crowd surrounds Kamala, creating a shield between them and the DODC, but even the New Jersey City cops are standing there. Like, it looks like they're gonna arrest them, and then they just about face. And that was like an awesome, powerful moment, right in front of the face of the agent. As they start walking through, it gives enough time for Kamala to just escape, walk off into the sky. So what did you guys think? This whole final battle, God, everything that happened.
I just want to just really quickly, when the whole crowd came, I felt like that was a Spider-Man moment.
Yes.
And like Tobey Maguire, right?
It made me think of that too. Like the train part, right? That scene.
Exactly.
When
Spider-Man 2.
And they just like kind of pick him up, and I was just like, oh my god!
Yeah.
So I got
where they catch him before he falls down, and then they pull him up inside, and
Yeah.
Okay, that was all.
No, continue.
No,
I
keep
feel
going.
I feel like Candace and I will talk, and then you're like, you said it all. So
No.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to just put that in there, and you guys can just add like.
I want to hear your thoughts.
else.
Give me your thoughts.
Yeah,
But it was very emotional just to kind of see that. I mean, I did get that Spider-Man vibe when the crowd kind of broke through and protected Kamala. And I was just like, okay, this is just like Spider-Man, and people are trying to realize that she is a hero, that she is worth saving because she's doing all these good things. Just like Spider-Man in that crowd, and in the train, and I think it also happened like with like the boats. I don't know, but just kind of seeing that and seeing like how Kamala just went through this like metamorphosis, I want to say, of accepting who she is, her powers, and everything kind of just clicks. And also seeing her like do the Embiggen and seeing it on the screen, I was like, you know what, this isn't bad. Though it kind of looked a little funny when she was walking towards Kamran, and you could kind of see it looked like a giant robot kind of thing, and it just didn't really look that natural. And I don't know if it's a CGI or whatever it was, but it looked like someone was on stilts, kind of just holding like something really long.
It looked like she was armor.
Kind of. I mean, it just felt a little weird, and it's only that one scene. I mean, just her grabbing the car. It was like, oh my god, it was just like the coolest thing. So yeah.
I loved. There's so much. I mean, when she embiggened, like Sarah, I also happy cried. I happy cried so much throughout like the whole end of this episode. I was just like, so excited, just so thrilled. I mean, that I love that fan service. I feel like in that moment, like when they blast her. First of all, they were shooting them like without
Kids.
any that was actually so insane. I gasped.
It's no provocation, no aggression by them. And they just start shooting at them. And it kind of calls back to like today's world.
Yeah.
100%.
I definitely felt
someone's
that
running
way.
away, you shoot them. I don't understand that.
Well, and he wasn't even running away, right? Like he was just standing there, like he refused to like kneel. And it was just such excessive force. It was excessive force, and they're kids. And yes, like exactly what you said, it calls back to, I think, a lot of what we're seeing, unfortunately, in our reality. And you know, I feel like what I've loved about this show is that those moments feel so poignant and intentional and are done with such like, or done so well, are really done so well. So it's not, and shooting in front of a mom and dad. I felt like especially there, I mean, there's so much we could say about all of the stuff that is happening currently in our world. But so I that just like was a really like kind of like, I remember like gasping while I was watching that. That was really hard to like see for like that kind of excessive force. And then just to see her come down, like it felt like such a badass superhero moment. Like I loved the scenes because I think what we're seeing throughout the whole show is like she's figuring out her powers and trying to and we get like some really cool superhero action scenes, but this specifically felt like her completely in her own. It felt like something like on the caliber of you're watching, I don't know, like Captain America or Thor or just like one of the big Avengers, like kind of rising to the task. Like it felt like, you know,
big heroic moment.
Yeah. And I thought it was really well done. And then when she kind of comes to they get hit with the sonic boom and she embiggens, like she's kind of like trying to muster everything in her. I was like, yeah. One thing I didn't quite understand, like my one bone to pick throughout that whole entire, just like the scenes of the fighting, is when she tells Cameron he needs to get to the dock and she punches down and then he there's a hole in the ground and then he's able to like where does that hole lead and how is he digging? Like,
that's what I was saying.
I was super confused by that. I was like, where, like, did she just like she punches and yes, I understand that there's like a hole, but where does that like?
That's what I was like. I hope it's
like,
a sewer.
I know.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just rolled with it.
Right? Yeah, no.
Okay,
Sure. Every episode that they've done, and like I feel like, okay, if that's my bone to pick, like that one scene throughout this entire show, like that's fine. Like they can take it.
I'll add the brother showing up and Zoe showing up as well. That those are little shocker moments in the whole show. Like, but where did you show up? They
explained the brother, right? Like, because the Find My iPhone thing. I mean, Zoe's, that was super like random, but I feel like there's context to that. I feel like Zoe and then the like punching down into the like where'd he climb to? Where is he? Like the center of the universe? Like,
Wait, you're gonna go straight to China from here, okay? You can go straight to Pakistan, right to the Chinese restaurant.
Oh my god. No, but I thought, and just like seeing her parents, like having to witness her getting shot at, like that was like horrible. And I don't know, all of it was just done really well though. I also liked the moment when she decides to really fight the DODC, because like I wasn't sure if she was going to consistently just like be on the defense and try to get him to escape. Like I actually enjoyed watching her fight back and like trusting that fighting back was the right move. And she had moments of compassion, like checking in and like, hey, is everyone cool here? But yeah, so loved it all.
Okay, let's see. What do I add to that? Let's see. So with the, let's see. I'm trying to remember what are you talking about?
I know there's so much.
About her, like her powers with the whole like embiggen thing. I mean, that was just so cool. I mean, yeah, it is interesting. Like it's like she's kind of been doing that, but not to that extent. But that was just cool because it reminded me of just like all the like really iconic covers and on, you know, for the comics and everything. So that was just like, I'm sure out loud I was like, yeah, like you know, like just I was just so excited to see that. And to what you were also saying, Haley, it's like I think like even with the costume, even certain things, like everything that's kind of progressed like in a very gradual way. So like seeing her abilities like that not go from 0 to 100, instead like finally building up to now that she's actually learned, she's had different experiences, and now she can actually use her abilities, which then makes it exciting to see like when she, past this show, what we're going to see from her. So we just know that she's getting more and more comfortable and just owning it. So that was just awesome. And then, so then the whole thing with the DODC, like attacking them and everything was just, very shocking. Almost like, they're being treated like they were like villains. Usually the superheroes are defending the villains, and then in this case they're villainizing them, and they literally didn't even do anything to deserve that. So it was just really sad, especially since they're kids. And then her Kamala's family and her parents watching that all, and then them not really, they can't do anything. So it was just really sad. But then like seeing everything at the beginning and when everybody came together, and like you were saying, Alonzo, the Spider-Man moment was just awesome. And I mean, I think throughout I've seen a lot of parallels with her and in Spider-Man. So it was cool to see something that was also like that. Which is probably why I've liked them a lot as characters, and I'm sure that's why I also like her so much. But I'm trying to think what else. It was a really good scene, and just seeing like we were saying, like not only was she able to defend them, but then finally it was more like offensive, and her actually using it in the right way. And then back to the whole part. I just don't. I was kind of wondering too. I was like, does he like punch through or something, or use like the powers to get through? I don't know. So then, I mean, later we see in later scenes that he obviously makes it. I'm like, okay, I guess he figured it out.
It worked.
He's like under there with like Google Maps, like trying to figure it out how to get to there. I mean,
Google Maps. That's awesome.
So I don't know. But like Haley was saying, if that's the least of our problems in this whole show, like that's not bad at all. Just again, like it didn't feel very rushed, that whole scene. It was pretty much like what I was like hoping for with her last like battle against the DODC. So, and not actually like where it's like she hurt them or anything. It was just that once her and like the town came together, which was really empowering, then they just left, at least for now. So loved it.
I liked how Haley pointed out that she, instead of being defensive, she actually went on the offense, right? And because she saw, like, I feel like she goes on the offense when she sees like her friends or family hurt. Like she sees, Bruno get hurt, and she just smacks everybody, and she sees Kamran hurt, so she literally attacks, the weapon that hurt them. I just love all of that. I also love like you guys said, the part where the crowd comes in and everything, and it's just very heartwarming, and reminds me of in the comic books, like how everyone dresses like Kamala to like kind of hide her. Like that, I felt like that whole, like she's got the people on her side, right? Even though the government is going after her. So I really like all that. It's like, and she's a teenager, so it's like almost like a rebel, that everybody's rooting for. So yeah, I really like all of that. But we do end that scene with the agent getting a call saying, you're done. We're relieving you of your duty. You done messed up. Everything's on TV. What are you thinking? You totally disobeyed my order in public. So she's got a lot to answer for, because another unit's coming in to clean up the mess. And then we move on. There are TikToks being shown by all these different people talking about the whole event, talking about Ms. Marvel, what they feel. And at the end of it, you see Kamala watching it. And I mean, it's really empowering, right? Because as a teenager who's unsure of herself already, and she has these powers, to get that reinforcement that she's making a difference and that people see it. I think it empowers her more to be a better hero and more of a superhero, just be more out there. I also I liked how the kid is on there, that she saved that first kid. He's like, I don't know what happened when she broke my leg, but maybe I was the beta test.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then we move to show her standing proudly and in front of the mirror in her little superhero pose. and then you can kind of, it pans where you can see, you know, Captain Marvel, and just like how she feels like now she's looking at herself as a hero after having admired Captain Marvel all around her room, and just now she can be the hero that she always admired, right? And then she goes out onto the roof. She's getting ready to go back out on patrol, and her father comes out and has a nice little conversation with her on the roof. This is what I love about this show. Bruno gives her mask. Red Dagger gives the sash. Mom makes the suit, and Daddy gets to name her character. So he explains to her basically what her names means, right? He tells a story of and now it makes sense because you see the age difference between her and her brother. We tried very hard to have a second child, but it never happened until you came along, and we named you Kamala, because Kamal means perfect in Arabic, but in Urdu it means wonder or marvel, roughly translate to that. And he says to her, you've always been our little Ms. Marvel, our little Miss Perfect, basically, right? So that's it. Her eyes light up. She knows that's her name. Thanks her dad, and she takes off to go do her patrol. And her father's just watching, and you see the glints of his eyes, the purple, and her taking off, and it's just like he's in amazement watching her, and he goes, just magic, you know. I love that, absolute magic. And then we see her in that famous pose where she's sitting on the street lamp watching over her city, and as she takes off, her little light turns into her symbol, and it goes to 1 week later. And 1 week later, we meet up with Bruno and Nakia, and they are in Kamran's nice little car.
Yep.
They're arguing, you know. Bruno saying, "Yeah, Kamran gave this to me," and she's like, Nakia's like, "No, he didn't." She's like, "Yeah. We got to know each other. We're better, you know. We got closer after bonding after that. My apartment got destroyed." So he's talking about going to Caltech. Nakia's talking about staying here with the car. And before they leave, Bruno has a conversation with Kamala. And he talks about there's something different about you. Yes, we knew that you were... I'm getting chills right now just talking about this.
Oh my God!
Like, literally all up and down my spine right now. Okay,
Guys.
so... okay, let me slow down here. There is... we know how you connect to the Noor. We know how you're able to utilize the Noor, but we don't know why, right? And Amir thought maybe I have powers too. And when he checked Kamala's genetics against all of her families, there was still something different. And he basically says to her, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but you have a mutation. And then they said, and then you hear
I was about to say, then you hear, whoops.
Nope. Yes, you hear that. So she is not an Inhuman in the MCU now, for the time being. For the time being.
Can we break this out? Because I'm freaking out. So first, I just have to show this that's on my phone. Wait, where is it? Okay, there we go.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Your favorite cover
of
all time.
Oh, yes.
That is all I thought about was Wolverine. Okay, so here's what I am hoping for, which is probably not going to happen. But when that like scene, I screamed. I like screamed in my home.
Oh my god, I'm with you. I'm sure I woke up somebody.
But I'm wondering because in the comics, she thinks she is a mutant,
right?
And then when she meets Wolverine, he's like, oh, maybe you're one of us. And then he takes her to the Inhumans, and they're like, actually, she's one of us. And so
she's explaining how she got her powers, and he goes, "That don't sound like a mutant. It sounds like an Inhuman."
Yeah, right. And so I'm wondering if we could still get Inhumans because she'll maybe. Oh my god, I will cry so many happy tears if she gets if they play out in any MCU world her like little partnership with Wolverine. I will.
Honestly, if we find out that's how we get Inhumans, I am not going to be mad at that.
I am not
so damn ever
at all, because I feel like what they could then do is they could still bring the Inhumans in, and what if there's like, because obviously the bracelet activated it, but there could have been something that like shifted her DNA. Like what if there was some kind of Terrigen Mist still? Like, couldn't they still build that in like a previous, but they just never showed it in this?
So,
I don't know. But
so I on social media, the actress Iman, who plays Kamala, she did tweet out that she thanked Kevin Feige for making her the first mutant.
Oh, she did.
I mean, if they make her a mutant, I am so like, right? I don't even care. Yeah. Like if she doesn't end up being Inhuman, they don't bring in the Inhumans, which I would be pretty surprised. And like, I don't know, I would be kind of surprised. But if they make her a mutant, like, I still die a happy person. Like that's fine with me. And I
don't think so. So like I said, when we've been talking about all these episodes, I really felt like they would push the fact that maybe mutant, but technically she's an Inhuman, but they don't find that out later because they don't even know what a mutant or an Inhuman is at this point.
That is true.
Right? And then on top of all of that, if I'm Kevin Feige, I ain't telling nobody what my plan is. Even if she is an Inhuman, I'm introducing this mutation. Technically, if she's an Inhuman, still no mutants in this whole world. He just said mutation. That's all he said. It was just a word.
But they played the X-Men 90s
but
song.
They did play the song.
They cannot. I don't. They cannot tease us like that.
But I can even say that they played the song because of the way the word he used. But I also can say, yeah, she's probably a mutant because they played the music.
That's right. They played the music. That's why.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know what's going to happen in the future because we did get a Black Bolt. We did get the King of the Inhumans already from another world, so we know Inhumans exist in the MCU at some multiverse. And we know Charles Xavier exists, so mutants exist in multiverse. So we can have our own versions, and just because no one's ever met one or known of one in the MCU, no one knows who's who and what's what. So that's how I'm going to look at it. Yes, she might be the first mutant, but she might be the first mutant like, I guess, like Namor was the first mutant, right? Like, but is he really a mutant? And they always played that question about him being a mutant, and then, finally figured out he is. And then it goes same thing with like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They're no longer mutants. They were like, I think they were Inhumans too, right? And then there was something else, externals.
Well, what I think was interesting too is she was like, oh, it's just like another label or another box. So like, she's not going to seek it out. It's going to have to approach her versus her seeking it out, which is why I think there could be, this is just me really wishing, a Wolverine. They're just like her meeting some mutants, like her meeting them and them like telling her, you are so not cool. By the way,
right.
That's true. Yeah.
But she could think she's a mutant like for years and years.
I will wait.
And then when she finally meets them, but it'd be worth it because it'd be like that's the turn, right? Where it's like, oh, we thought she was the first mutant. Nope. So she was the first Inhuman.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. But what did you guys think of all this? The end, we'll get to the end credit, but
Yeah.
let's talk about this ending. Just the agent being basically fired almost. We get Kamala having the conversation with her father, and have her conversation with her friends.
The conversation with her dad was like one of the most beautiful scenes, I think, in all of the whole series. It comes back to like so many people like close to her are providing the outfits or the monikers, just right, creating Miss Marvel. Like she doesn't create Miss Marvel alone. It's like all due to the people who are her support system and her team. And her dad's like, I don't know. I'm also really close with my dad. So like, I got really like, I was like happy tears. And I just was like, it just made me, that was so special. Like, and that was just like such a deep love. So I loved it so much. So that's all I have to say. It was so beautiful.
So
yeah.
I just really quickly I put in a link to show that tweet on social media that kind of what we talked about a little bit about Amon, the actress, saying like, "Oh, I'm the first mutant." So.
Damn it, Sarah.
All right, go ahead, Candace. I'm sorry.
So with Kamala and her dad, this was just like another moment of throughout the shows of just like her having these really special moments with both her mom and her dad. And I don't even know why I didn't even notice originally, like until we were talking about it, that her dad basically gave her the final piece to her identity as Miss Marvel. So in the comics, right? Because it's still different. Like she's a Miss Marvel because she's originally looks like the original Miss Marvel. So that there's not that connection at all, right? That at all. Like later on, they don't explain anything related, right? This is just because of MCU came up with this.
Well,
for what?
So
her name of the
They well, like her name, he basically was like in like Urdu means like Marvel.
Yeah.
But then she's like, "Are you like?" There's that. She's like, "Are you telling me I share the same?" I share the same
freaking name
as Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
So then then she's like, "This is like who my idol is. This is like what my name means." And then he calls her like my little Miss Marvel. And then I was like, I'm crying.
So I like that they had that. It was more of like a sentimental and special meaning to her name rather than even how like the comics did it, where it's different. But it just made a whole special that everyone that's special in her life like contributed to making who she is today, which is basically like, superhero or not, like I feel like a lot of us can relate of that, of people in our lives contributing different things that make up who we are and how we become the person that we are. So I just love that. And then what was that? What was after that? What was that? Okay. So then she meets up with,
Nothing.
Yeah, she meets up with her friends.
Yes. I mean, and then the whole mutant thing. Okay, so that was just like a nice like ending thing with her friends and everything. But then of course like gets to the part that we were talking about. Now, I think originally, which I didn't realize until I did research after about the whole like. I don't know. Me and my boyfriend were like, how did we miss the theme song? I think we were talking over it because I was like, they were talking about the mutant thing, and I was like, no, but she's an Inhuman. Like, I was like trying to explain it to him because I read the comics, and I think we literally talked over it. So then once I was reading it, I was like, oh, I was wondering, like, did they change it, just for the MCU or what? So, but it's a good point of, well, of course, we're really hoping for the Wolverine and Kamala. Like, I mean, I've actually read that far into the comics, and I loved it. I mean, in general, of how many different crossovers she has, even with Spider-Man. Oh my god, I know. I mean, now that's a little different now with how Spider-Man is, but just any kind of crossovers with other people will be really fun, and that would be just a great way. Even like we're saying, it's like even if she isn't a mutant, it's like in the comics where she's gonna find out that she's not. So then that's just a way to still bring in the X-Men. So I mean, yeah, I think at this point we all can agree we don't care how they do it as long as it's done well, and if they can cross over with her, that's even cooler. Yeah, so that was just perfect way to end it besides the end credits. But yeah, just it ended with just really great. Well, I guess another cliffhanger in a way, but just a great ending to the whole series.
Alonzo.
No, it's yeah. I mean, I like the little nod about the dad. It's just like, you're my little Ms. Marvel. I was like, oh, there you go. And I mean, it kind of felt a little corny, but at the same time, like it had a lot of meaning to it. So I really like that, and yes, to everything that Candace and Haley said, yes. Now let's just talk about the end credits. Let's go.
All right.
Go.
So we finally get another end credit scene, and Kamala's laying on her bed, and her bracelet starts to glow pink and purple, kind of cosmically. She gets up, looks at it very closely, and all of a sudden, kind of like Harry Potter, where they move through, like they like that, and they
exactly
transport themselves.
Yeah,
like something is transported in her spot. She goes right through the closet door, and then some blonde chick steps up and is holding a picture of Captain Marvel broken from the door, and it's Brie Larson standing right there. She looks down, she looks around, she sees her face everywhere, and she's like, oh no, and drops everything and runs off. And we get the little button where Ms. Marvel will return in the Marvels. So I don't know if at first I questioned exactly how, because I the first time I saw it, I go, oh, did she just transport her here? Like, did they just switch places? And then I kind of looked at it again and I go, but the way she acted didn't necessarily act like a Captain Marvel. Felt like kind of like her, but then she didn't see herself. So how should she know she's dressed like Captain Marvel? So I totally believe that they did switch places. She didn't turn into Captain Marvel. I was like, if they did that, that's just weird. I didn't know the bracelet had that power. So if we think about everything, Captain Marvel is usually never on planet, always off planet, always helping some other, world. And to me, if she switched places with Kamala's somewhere out in the galaxy all by herself. And who knows what Captain Marvel was doing at that moment. She could have been in the middle of the Kree-Skrull War, or she could have been in the middle of negotiations or anything. So crazy. What did y'all think? Hey, we were right again. We would see Brie Larson at the end and at end credit scene too, not just the end credit scene.
So I don't know if it's like, is it Captain Marvel or did she change into?
So at first I thought maybe she
paused
could have.
and rewatched it, and like in the comics she does look like Captain Marvel at one point. So like she could have shape shifting abilities that wouldn't be completely out of the normal, but it's like the reason they made her that in the comics. I don't know that story arc makes sense to then start there, right? So part of me thinks
that's definitely a beginning story arc for sure, because it's definitely about body image and like self-esteem issues and stuff like that, and placement in society.
And I think like because she's like she looks around, she's like, what is happening? She's like, oh, so I agree. I think it's actually Brie, like Captain Marvel, but then I also feel like
maybe
not like
right.
So I don't know. It's like I couldn't put like 100% on like it actually being Captain Marvel, but I do think like I'm leaning that way more than anything.
And I think just the evidence that not at one point did she see herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that she realized that she's wearing Brie Larson's face. So if she had turned into her, that would be one thing you'd be like freaking out about. But the fact is she was looking at a picture of Captain Marvel. Kind of makes me think that it is the latter where she got switched. So yeah. I don't know. That's just my reasoning, and I think that's probably 95% right.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. That was a scene that I did rewatch twice. Yeah, because at first it's done so quickly that you're like, wait, what just happened? And then because I had that context from the comics, I mean, I think anyone that didn't read them wouldn't probably know. But or it still could be confusing, I guess. So I wasn't sure, but then yeah, like once she starts looking around and everything, and it just made it seemed like backwards that they would have that happen. So I'm leaning towards that too. I'd be kind of surprised if it was that, but I feel like they almost did it on purpose too, to be like kind of people that have read it to kind of question that too. So I don't know. And I knew that she was definitely going to be and I didn't know she was in the end credit, but because I had watched the trailer from last week, I did know. I mean, it kind of made sense. Like I think we all would have been shocked if she wasn't in it, or if anyone else would have been instead of hers. But yeah. So I was the whole time I was kind of like, okay, is she going to show up as like an actual person, or is she going to show up in like a dream? Or so it was kind of. So once I saw that, I was like, wait, is it just that she's showing up because she just changed into her, or is it actually her? And then now, yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty much leaning where you guys are, but it did make me think, and I had to rewatch it a couple times.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's 100% Captain Marvel, like without a doubt. I think they just switched places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, just by her reaction to the room, seeing everything. I mean, that just did it for me.
I like Eric's excuse here. Like she was in the middle of a fight and she realized, oh no, if I switch places with this person, they're in deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
We don't know where she was sent. So
where did she go?
I know what I really wanted to see though. Just kind of looking back now, it's like I wanted her to meet Carol Danvers is what I wanted, and her just to go total fangirl on it. And I think having that episode do that would make more sense than having her fangirl maybe in the movie. You know what I mean? Like I think it's better placement like in the Disney Plus like TV show versus having her fangirl like with Carol Danvers in the movie.
I actually I'm gonna disagree with you, just for the simple fact that not everyone who's gonna watch the movie will have watched this show, and that's probably gonna be a very big percentage actually. Unluckily for them who have not watched the Ms. Marvel show. And the fact that we see this new character already have established relationship with her before they see her on the screen, I would think that's gonna throw people off. So like having her meet Captain Marvel in the movie will make more sense to the audience at that point, because you have to negate the fact that any of them watch this at all.
Yeah,
I can see that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think about that.
No, I didn't either. I think, and plus, like, what we can maybe guess is that when in the movie there'll be more of a build up to her meeting up with her, and that's going to probably be a big plot point of the movie. So, I mean, I would think. So, I guess that would make sense.
I also feel like it would have been like, because at least in the comics, the way that they like Carol kind of meets her is like, oh, I've heard you've been using my name. And so I feel like to have built that into the season finale on top of everything would have felt a little rushed or a little bit too much. Though, like, I was really hoping we got the meeting, but now Jeff, like with that point of like having them meet in a film to build that relationship versus outside of that, it makes a lot of sense to me. But I love the end credit. Made me want more. I can't wait for the Marvels movie. When is that like slated for, by the way?
Next year.
I think next year.
I feel like
I want to say
so
May.
far away.
May
Or March, maybe. I don't
May
know.
or August.
I hope March.
I think it's in the first 6 months, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
I know there's 2 movies in the first 6 months.
I just want it all, and I want it all now.
I'm with you because that film is done. They just got to do they need to finish the FX. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I mean,
just on a date, it says July 28th, 2023.
There you go, July.
That is too far away.
A whole year.
It is.
That is a whole year.
That means we're gonna get 2 Marvel movies before that one. That's gonna be the third, or is that gonna be the second? I don't know, because I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get 4 next year. Yep, there you go, 28.
Wow.
Is that a Frank show over your shoulder, sir?
Yes, it is. Frank Cho, Sweeney Boo.
Yeah, I can't wait. This opens all kinds of questions. We have no idea what the Marvels is going to be about. We don't even know how, like, is it going to lead into Secret Invasion? Is Secret Invasion going to come out before that? I don't know. It looks like they're going to be looking for Ms. Marvel, or at least Captain Marvel is. And this will probably also give Brie Larson or Captain Marvel a chance, Carol Danvers, to catch up with Monica Rambeau and figure out what their issue is with each other. Because they had an issue with each other, at least that's what it seemed when we were in the WandaVision show, right? Monica mentioned something kind of in disgust of Carol. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see their dynamics, all their powers together, who they're gonna fight. I don't know if we'll get I can't say that.
What you should say it.
Yeah, you should just say it. I mean,
you should totally just say it.
I will say this. I believe we will get a season 2. I just don't know if they will announce it at San Diego or if they will announce it at Disney D23. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
Fingers crossed. I just want more.
But I hope they do. But of course, I don't know if they will before even the Marvels movie. Who knows?
Yeah,
they have plenty of time because they wouldn't be able to shoot it anytime soon, and I don't think they would release it anytime like within a year. I think it'd be a lot more.
The show can't continue until after the movie anyway, so
has
exactly
like Loki season 2 started filming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It started filming about 3 weeks ago.
Great. Love to hear it.
Yeah. And there's definitely some surprises, and they are definitely saying there's a lot of scenes with Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. So
that's all I need is
still working together.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. It's a buddy comedy, man. I love it. Those two work so well together.
I love it.
If they took that away, that would just be like, what?
That's like
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
True.
I also need more Miss Minutes, please and thank you.
Yes.
And I hear we will get more Miss Minutes. Yes. So that's a for sure.
Oh, I don't know if I've shown you guys. Yes. There is a Miss Minutes clock right there.
I need the Funko Pop.
I
know I saw it.
Wait, is there like a big Funko Pop?
Yeah, it's big. I don't remember if it came out though online.
I don't know if it's a 6-inch or a 10-inch, but it comes out at San Diego.
I think it's a bigger one.
I want it.
Oh my god!
I know. I really want it.
I will let you know where you can find it, which store you can find it in, because I believe it's shared.
Please,
I think.
Please, because I have the mini one that comes with. Was it Ramona Renslayer?
Oh yeah, Ravonna. Yeah.
Ravonna.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Oh my
I'll
gosh!
let you
Wait,
know.
that it's 10-inch.
Is it a 10-inch?
Yeah, so
It's 10
it's
inch.
big.
Glow in the
With
Oh
a
my
glow in the
gosh.
dark.
Did
That's
you say
right.
glow in the dark?
Yeah, I think
Now I'm
so.
gonna want it.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
We're all
Guys.
going one.
I told you already, man. Yeah, it's a freaking awesome piece. It looks awesome too.
I am so excited. Yeah, if you could let a girl know where to purchase, I will be.
I will
thanks.
let you all know. And I think they made an America Chavez pop too for the Doctor Strange
Yeah, I
movie.
saw that.
Yes. I just want
Yeah.
more Miss Marvel pops. I have the Walgreens exclusive, and so now I need like her new ones from like the
so
show.
cute.
Oh, the Walgreens. That's right. It's such an old one.
It is. I love it.
But yeah, they probably will make more of her for the show. They'll make more for at least for the movie, at least. So yeah, we'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah, we honestly do need a group order. We just order like 20
Just
of
all
them,
of us.
please.
I will let you know where you can find it. Y'all are gonna have to fend for yourselves because it is a mother biatch to get these things from Comic-Con.
So it's from San Diego.
Well,
like it'll just like drop there.
It's an exclusive for San Diego, but they have shared exclusives of the same pops at certain stores.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they'll divvy it up.
Hopefully
So
that
it'll
one
be like
is.
GameStop or Target or Box Lunch or Hot Topic or FYE or there's all kinds of places they sell them at. So yeah, I'll let you know. We'll send you a list.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And if not, you can tune in this Saturday to the Saturday morning toy box where Rob and Steve will let you know all about the new toys coming out for San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So I just looked on for that Miss Minutes. It looks like it is going to be on the Funko website.
Oh, that's
so
worse.
it's going to be released online. And it does say jumbo size pop on it. So
yeah, but jumbo size, they say that for 6 and 10-inch. So who knows?
Are they still doing that? Like where you can get in advance on the Funko website, and then if you didn't apply to be in advance, then you can't get it or something. Like it'll be sold out already. I don't know if they're doing that.
I believe this time it's open to the public.
Yes.
So there's no limitation. You don't need to receive an email.
Ooh, good.
But yeah.
I'm ready.
When and what time? It'll most likely be on Thursday or Friday morning of San Diego Comic-Con, which is exactly next week.
Oh, it's next week?
Next Thursday morning or next Friday morning at like 8 or 9 a.m. Pacific time, that it'll probably go live. But I will have more information.
Oh, could I say a quick rant for 2 seconds about America Chavez in Multiverse of Madness? I was watching The Assembled, and they were talking about her outfits and like what they like used to like for inspiration, and they were talking about how they use the Day of the Dead and like Mexican heritage. And I just have a gripe with that because she's supposed to be Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans don't celebrate the Day of the Dead.
I was like,
and
wait.
And my cousin like had seen Multiverse of Madness, and she's like, they made her Mexican, which like I love that. Like, you know, we need like Mexican representation, but she's not Mexican. And so that I had a problem with that. And it made me really sad as someone who is Puerto Rican and really identified with.
You know what?
Comics.
I guarantee you they changed that because
she's Mexican.
Well, maybe that too, but also probably didn't hurt that Miles is also half Puerto Rican. And so like maybe we want to do representation of a Mexican over here, and then we'll have Miles do the representation for Puerto Ricans. And I was just like,
I don't love that choice.
That's a weird decision. So. That one's a weird one in my eyes.
Yeah, no, and it just felt super like, was it intentional or did you just like
maybe they did it for the character? They could have did it for the actor.
It was like when you're watching The Assembled too, it was like all these like white dudes talking about it. And I was like,
oh my god!
Like there was like not a lot of like, I don't know. I had feelings
people
about
of color.
No.
Yeah, people of color, like women. I was just kind of like, where are they at? Besides like Wanda. And I think like I know like obviously so many more people work on it than they like showcase in those Assembled, but just a lot of the people that they had speaking, and then the costume designer like specifically said Day of the Dead, and I was just like,
Ooh, yeah.
I really didn't see that either, as it wasn't very. Her outfit didn't feel that culturally attached to.
Yeah, I don't
it
Mexican
wasn't
remember
heritage.
it
really.
being
It's
like
not like
that.
they were within like
just
the
had the
shows you don't
patch,
really
right?
see.
I just saw a patch, so I don't
Yeah, I'll
know
have
if
to look
I
at it.
saw.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wasn't like, I don't know. I really disliked that film. So
There's another reason now.
Alonzo wasn't that hot about it either.
it was
But
my
yeah.
least favorite MCU film, I would have to say.
Oh.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Go watch Thor the
Dark
Dark
World.
World. That one's worse.
Oh, yeah.
You'll fall asleep to that one.
Yep.
Yeah, she definitely had a rainbow patch. That was more prominent than anything else. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It is what it is. That sometimes, you know, they make good decisions, sometimes they don't make good decisions.
True.
So overall, what do y'all think? And what do you guys want to see in the future? You guys hoping for that season 2? You guys hoping for that?
Yeah. Season 2.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll have to get a petition going, right?
I'm sure there's already one. I'm sure there's
Probably.
already
We need to find it after this.
I'm sure. Yeah, we all want a season 2. I think out of all the Disney Plus series, besides Loki, this actually might get a season 2. It makes a lot of sense because it's really hard, I think, to sell a teeny bopper type of movie to Marvel fans. And I don't know why it would be, honestly. I think that's just maybe that's the loud people talking, right? But it makes it easier to put it on a series, a show, and you can tell more and you can talk more and more exposition. And we're gonna need more exposition just because she has such a very so many people connected to her in her show. There's just so many supporting characters, so much more than any other character, I believe, that in the Marvel universe. So I mean, there's just so much to tell right there. I hope that they do a second series. They do. But with that said, any of you guys have any last things to say? Everybody, please give Candice Barbosa at Candice_Barbosa on IG, and give at ShyComic_girl a follow on IG as well. Haley also has a YouTube channel, so go ahead and subscribe to that. Thank you both for being here. Thank you, Alonzo, for running everything. I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed Ms. Marvel. Leave a comment. Let us know what you all think. And even if you watched it way later and you're watching this now, at that time, just let us know what you all think, because we really want to know what people actually think of the show, of Ms. Marvel, and this version, and of Iman Vellani. So let us know. And with that said, if you guys want to do it right, watch what you like. Ms. Marvel fan groups for life.